Facebook Marketplace has some of the worst product photos I've ever seen. And yet, everything on there still sells. Now, in the last 3 months, I have accumulated a lot of things that I've been meaning to put on Facebook Marketplace, but I haven't done it yet. And the reason for that is simple. I want to find out, does better photos get better clicks? So today, I'm going to create absolute banger photos for Facebook Marketplace. Now, I could just take better photos and list them on Marketplace, see if it sells, but I feel like that doesn't really prove anything, so here's the plan. I'm going to create 2 accounts on Facebook, and one of them is going to be listing very unsuspecting photos of the same product, and the other one is going to be listing the absolute banger product photos. And both of them are going to be listed at the same price. So the question is, will the better photo get more clicks, or does it not matter at all? Let's find out. Alright, let me introduce to you the products that we're working with. First one is Oakley glasses. So these ones are like pretty mad. Next one is a phone case. Also my old phone. It does have a few problems, like there's a chip on the lens and Face ID doesn't work. Next one, Nike shoes. And the last one, which is the reason I wanted to do this video, the most expensive item we're selling, and that is bike wheels. Now, I feel like a good place to start with all this might be to pick up some inspo photos, just to sort of know what I'm aiming for each of these products. So let's start with the Oakley glasses. I feel like that one's pretty nice and aesthetic looking. For the next 2 hours, I hunted around Pinterest and Google Images to find the most interesting photos for each of the products. For each of them, I found around 2 photos that I wanted to replicate, and then we moved on to the actual shooting. Let's start on the glasses. So the first photo I want to try is this one, but first we're going to need some plants. So if we get these and we put it like here. I realized that the reference photo had raindrops in it, so I used this little water droplet to meticulously place each raindrop one by one, which actually kind of made a sick photo. But we weren't done yet. You see, for every listing that we make, we need 2 types of photos in there. Feature shots to get attention, and also detail shots to show the product. Those photos that we just did, those were feature shots. So now we're going to move on to the detailed shots for the glasses. For these, I kept it pretty simple and used a cream backdrop and a macro lens to get close-ups. And I gotta say, these photos look pretty sick. Okay, so we now had everything we needed for the glasses, but don't forget, we have other products to shoot, so let's move on to the next one. For this one, we're shooting the phone case, and we're going to use a green backdrop, but with a bit of a twist to make sure that it's over the top. I've recently gotten this fog machine, which I really wanted to try out. And I think it's going to be the perfect thing to make this photo over the top. I suspended the phone case in the air using sewing string, and then I created an atmosphere-like effect around the phone case using the fog machine.
Yeah, that's it. That's sick.
So the next reference photo that we want to copy is this photo, just to show a bit of the shock absorbing of this phone. And to get this shot, I needed to collect very specific rocks that were sharp and black. Luckily, I found a few, so I gathered them and placed them together in our little set. The plan is, just like the reference photo, we'll have this, like, here or something. Now, similar to the previous shoot, I'm also using sewing string to suspend the phone exactly how I want it. And it's looking absolutely killer at the moment. After we got these photos, we had everything we needed for the phone case, and now it was time to move on to item 3, which is the phone. So for this one, I reckon we go for a brown black drop for the flat lace with the phone there, and then we'll put heaps of other like gadgets on top of it and just like position it nice so that it looks aesthetic, I guess. I spent around 20 minutes shooting the flat lays, and they turned out pretty solid, and I decided to get the detailed shots of the phone in this flat lay setup as well. Now, for the next one, this was the reference photo we were working with, and because of how many different leaves you see in this one, I decided to go outside for this photo. I propped the phone up using another lens, and I used a big piece of paper to reflect the light and make the shadows less harsh, a pretty common technique in photography. I took the photo, and with that was all the photos we needed for this listing. So, next product, shoes, Nike shoes. Now the reference photo for these was this photo. Seems easy, however, we needed a way to make those reflections, so I devised a plan. So I think we just get this, put water on it, and then suspend the shoe like that. I've got this sewing string and we're just going to attach this to the roof and then to the back of the shoe, and we should be able to just kind of like suspend it here without it rotating or anything. And yeah, that looks pretty sick. I then added the water, then took the photos, and this is the result. Looks pretty mad. The final item we had to shoot was the bike wheel. To follow up the reference photos, I took my bike out with the wheels to take some photos in the context of the bike. After a bit of playing around to get the balance right, I got the shot and it turned out pretty good. But I now needed the detail photos of the wheel. The original plan was to do them in the same location, but then a thought occurred. I kind of want to use the same setup that we used for the shoes with like the water and the reflection and stuff. I think that's going to show them the best, I reckon. So let's go back to that one. I'm pretty confident in these. Honestly, I kind of don't even think it's a fair competition. These photos look so good and so clean. The next step in this experiment is to get the ordinary photos. I've been thinking of the best way to shoot these for the entire day, but I feel like just that is overthinking it. So I'm just gonna try as best as I can to take some ordinary photos using my phone. So I got to work. I gathered all the items I had and I shot each one in the most unsuspecting way possible. From here, it was as simple as listing all the items on Marketplace, except it wasn't that simple. Originally, I planned to create a separate account to list the banger photos and the ordinary photos, but there was one glaring problem. If you create a new Facebook account, you can't sell items for like 2 weeks. I found out the hard way and decided to just list all the items on the same account. I started uploading all the products, both the banger photos and the standard photos, to Facebook, with all of them having their own unique descriptions, and as soon as I finished, I received confirmation that my hope in the banger photos wasn't misplaced. Okay, it's been like 2 minutes, and we've got a message on the iPhone. Let's go. Oh, there's another one. Oh my god. So in the past 24 hours, we've received a pretty good mix of responses, both from the banger photos and the ordinary photos. But at this point, it's way too early to tell which one is pulling ahead. So over the next week, I sold each of the products, and I started seeing a very clear lean towards one side. This did not go how I thought it was going to go. Okay, so I've totaled the clicks on each of the photos, put them all together, and this is the results. The banger photos received 739 clicks, and the normal photos received, in total, 1,062 clicks. And not only that, every product that was sold from the normal photos. So I guess pro photos just aren't for Facebook Marketplace.